Ever felt like you're just not good enough at something? Especially when you see your friends acing it. You're not alone. Let me tell you a story about a boy named David, which might just change how you see yourself and your abilities. David was a typical 12-year-old. In 6th grade, his world revolved around one thing. Soccer. Rain or shine, you'd find him in the backyard, practicing his dribbles, his shots, his footwork. Soccer wasn't just a hobby. It was his passion. Something he did without anyone telling him to. He lived and bred the game. But one afternoon, David came home with a long face, his backpack feeling heavier than usual. He slumped onto the sofa, a crumpled piece of paper clutched in his hand. It was his math test. A big, red, disappointing grade stared back at him. What made it worse was knowing his best friend, Matt, probably got a perfect score without even breaking a sweat. Frustration bubbled up inside him. "Why can't I be as smart as Matt?" he muttered to himself, his voice thick with disappointment. His father found him there, a little storm cloud of sadness in the living room. Instead of lecturing him about the bad grade, his dad sat down, put a comforting arm around his shoulders, and listened. He understood David's frustration. "Come with me," his dad said gently. "I want to show you something in the garden." Out in the fresh air, surrounded by plants and flowers, David's dad looked at him with a kind smile. "David," he began, "I'm going to share 3 lessons with you today. These are lessons I want you to carry with you, not just through school, but for the rest of your life. They will help you understand yourself and the world a little better." David, still feeling down, looked up at his dad, curious about what these life-changing lessons could possibly be. "For your first lesson," his dad said, "I have a challenge for you. Tomorrow, I want you to invite Matt over to play soccer." David was confused. What did soccer have to do with his bad math grade? Still, he trusted his dad and agreed. The next day, Matt came over. The 2 friends set up makeshift goals in the backyard. The game started, and the difference between them was instantly clear. David moved with a natural grace and confidence, the ball seeming to be an extension of his own body. He weaved past Matt with ease, his feet a blur. He scored 1 goal, then another, then a third. Matt, on the other hand, was clumsy and awkward. He tried his best, but he was clearly out of his element, stumbling over the ball and struggling to keep up. After the game, as they were catching their breath, David's dad came over. He looked at both boys and then at David. "So, what did you learn?" he asked. David thought for a moment, looking at Matt, who was still trying to figure out how David had moved so fast. "I'm much better at soccer than Matt is," David said. "Exactly," his dad replied. "And that's the first lesson. Everyone has unique strengths. You, David, have a gift for soccer. You have a passion for it that makes you want to practice and get better every single day. Matt has a gift for math. It's not that one is better than the other. You're just different, and being different is perfectly okay. You shine on the soccer field, and he shines in the classroom. The world needs both soccer players and mathematicians." This was a light bulb moment for David. He had been so focused on what he could undo that he'd forgotten what he could do incredibly well. A few days later, his dad presented him with a second challenge. "For lesson number 2, he said, I want you to become a detective at school. Your mission is to observe Matt. I want you to secretly count how many times you see him doing something related to numbers throughout the day." David took the mission seriously. The next day at school, he became Matt's shadow, and what he discovered was astonishing. During breaks, while other kids were chatting or playing, Matt was often scribbling in a little notebook, solving math puzzles he found online. At lunchtime, David saw him calculating the total cost of his and his friends' meals, just for fun. He even saw Matt counting the petals on a flower during recess, probably thinking about patterns and sequences. From solving problems in class with lightning speed to figuring out change at the tuck shop, Matt's day was filled with numbers. Numbers weren't a chore for him. They were a game. When David reported his findings to his dad, the second lesson became crystal clear. "You see, David?" His father explained. "The reason Matt is so good at math isn't just because he's naturally smart. It's because he consistently practices. He does it all the time because he genuinely enjoys it. It's not work for him." It's play. It's the same way you are with soccer. You don't just practice when you have a big game coming up. You practice every single day because you love it. That consistent practice is what makes you a great player. To get good at anything, you have to put in the time, and you have to do it over and over again. David now understood. Matt wasn't a magician. He was a practitioner. His success in math was a result of countless hours of enjoyable practice, just like David's own skills in soccer. Finally, it was time for the third and final lesson. This one might be the toughest, his dad warned with a knowing look. For one evening, I want you to study math 3 times harder than you normally would. Your goal is to try and catch up to Matt. David was determined. He thought, if practice is the key, then I'll just practice harder. He went to his room, spread his books out on his desk, and dove in. He started with his homework, then moved on to extra problems from the textbook. He read the chapters ahead. For the first hour, he was focused, but as the second hour crept in, his mind started to wander. The numbers began to blur. His head started to ache. The concepts felt heavy and impossible to grasp. Soon, his eyelids felt like they were made of lead. He fought to stay awake, but his body and mind had given up. David slumped over his desk and fell fast asleep, his math marathon ending in failure. He woke up to his dad gently shaking his shoulder. He felt defeated. I couldn't do it, he admitted, his voice full of frustration. It's just too hard. His dad smiled sympathetically. And that, my son, is the third and most important lesson. The power of enjoyment. When you try to force yourself to do something you don't love, discipline feels like a heavy chain. It's a constant battle, and it drains your energy. Think about it. 2 hours of forced math study and you got a headache and fell asleep. But how many hours can you play soccer without even noticing the time go by? David thought about the long summer afternoons spent playing until it was too dark to see the ball. I could play all day, he said. Exactly, his dad concluded. When you're doing something you are passionate about, discipline feels light as a feather. Consistency isn't a struggle. It's a natural outcome of your love for the activity. So, here is my final piece of advice for you. If you want to become truly great at something, you have 2 choices. Either find a way to do what you love, or find a way to love what you do. If you can learn to find the fun in math, to see it as a puzzle or a game like Matt does, practicing will become easier. But if you can't, that's okay too. Focus your energy on what you do love, like your soccer, and become the best you can be at that. A wave of relief washed over David. He finally understood. It wasn't about being smart or not smart. It was about finding your unique strengths, practicing them consistently, and fueling that practice with genuine enjoyment. He hugged his dad tightly. Thanks, Dad. I'll remember these 3 lessons forever. And just like David learned the secret to getting better at anything, you can too. Whether it's math, music, or even learning a new language like English, remember these 3 keys. Find what you're good at, practice it consistently, and most importantly, find a way to enjoy the journey. By the way, speaking of practice, making English a part of your daily routine is the best way to improve. Thank you so much for watching. I hope David's story inspired you today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need to hear this message. See you in the next one.